All right. Hey, Sebastian, thank you for taking the time to do this quick interview. Also, everyone watching, Sebastian just moved to Italy. He's on a military base, middle of the country, so the internet's a little choppy. So if it pauses a little, that's why. So, right, Sebastian, where were you before joining Wall Street Vision?
So before joining Wall Street Vision, I actually was just in an EMBA program and practicing what the term is like paper money and mild trades here and there. But I'm more of my knowledge lies more on the longer term, bigger companies, evaluating those types of stocks like Tesla, Apple, and then the current strategy that you're doing, SPY, that all kind of jives with the kind of education that I have. Whereas Wall Street Vision is more of the shorter term stocks in a very like micro level versus a macro level.
Got it. So you were doing some paper trading and you're familiar with like more long-term investments, but you didn't have any, or you weren't as well versed.
It broke up, but I'm assuming that in day trading, no, I wasn't.
Right. Cool. And then I guess what motivated you to like get into the short-term trading?
So the biggest motivation for me was I wanted to figure out a way to make money after retirement in a fashion that wouldn't take up too much of my time throughout the day. And what got me is because, Google's always listening and your video came up amongst others. Talking about like a short-term, short day strategy that you can set it and forget it kind of idea. And that was the perfect, how you explained it was a perfect way of kind of executing my thought process now and into the future.
Okay, so you were looking to make more money after retirement, short-term trading, and then, like you said, Google was listening, so it started showing you different ads, and then mine came up. But what made you decide to work with me specifically out of all the different people that were giving you offers?
So a little bit about how I am as a person. I'm very much of a conservative in terms of money management. And I like things to make sense and be simple and straight to the point. A lot of these other strategies involve you learning how to code, learning how to, deep dive into the resistance and the supports and all that stuff. And I'm like, even though they teach you that in school, I wasn't gonna delve too much time getting into the nitty gritty, as we call it in the military. I didn't want to get into the weeds. What drew me to your strategy was it sounded, and it is, a very simple way of trading, and it kind of jived with what I was already kind of getting into without having to know any knowledge about you or your strategy. I was like, I need something that's quick. I need something that's easy to understand, and the way you presented it, and even after I spoke with you during our couple of calls, it kind of jived exactly with what I wanted to do. And also, you didn't seem like a salesperson, which is what I also liked. What I gathered and what I gather is that you're trying to make sure that the strategy is very global in terms of even the simplest person, even the person that knows almost nothing to the person that knows a lot can kind of grasp the strategy. And I appreciated that. So I think that in general drew me into it. And I knew, and I know, as everyone knows, stocks, nobody can predict the stock market. And so I appreciated that you were honest from the beginning. You're like, look, we're not going to win all the time, but when we do win, we're going to win well. If we lose, we lose, but we won't lose a lot. And I appreciated that.
Got it. So you mentioned that you were looking like you're a more conservative person with your money, and so you found this, I guess, because I had the realistic goals for the system, right? We're not going to make tons of money, like, but we're going to make some kind of thing. That was appealing. It wasn't salesy, right? To call, I guess there wasn't pressure. And the system you were looking for was, you wanted a system that was simple, easy to understand. And yeah, I would say that it's designed for someone who's like complete beginner all the way up to someone who's more advanced. And obviously this person is going to have a faster, they're going to be faster with it. They're going to be able to grasp it even faster than someone who's a complete beginner. But yeah, I do want it to be good for anyone. Cool, thanks. So now it's been about 3 months because you joined back in March. So I guess, what amount did you start with in your trading account, and what amount do you have now?
So I started with 25,000, and right now I am at 27,900. So almost 28,000,
Okay.
which is a 10.7%
Okay.
improvement.
And that's in about a 3-month period. So if we call it 11% divided by 3, it's roughly 3.5% per month.
That's correct.
Okay. And then earlier you were saying that, tell us more about like that experience in the beginning, like what happened when you joined. You said you mentioned you got a little excited. What happened there?
So I'll start with the overexcitement. There was a couple of trades where they were part of the insider buy pings, but they weren't part of your strategy. You never said, hey, let's go buy this. You said, these are part of the insider ones, and I decided to buy them. I bought them. Overall, those couple of trades altogether was about $2,000 loss. That was the loss. Then after that, again, not knowing what I was doing, the second piece to that is I was using my old trade feelings to negotiate the things that you actually said to trade. For example, there was one trade where after it gained about 2% overall the account, I pulled out early, and that particular trade kept going up and up and up. Had I stayed in the trade, because I always go all in, I go 25,000, 26,000, whatever the amount is, go all in. Had I stayed in that trade, like on the strategy beginning to end, end of the day, that same trade would have made me about $3,000 to $4,000. And I would have made everything that bought into the program that day. But because I had previous bad days, I let bad days keep the good days. And we actually talked about that earlier in the when we were in the coaching.
Got it. So yeah, thanks for running everyone through that. So essentially, if you had followed the, I guess, alerts and the plan exactly, then you would be up another roughly, let's call it $5,000 or so.
Yes.
So total, you'd be up about 8,000 versus the 25,000.
Correct.
Which would have been a 32% return, or roughly 10% per month.
Yeah.
So, but regardless, you should still be proud of that 3.5% a month. That's still pretty good. Annualized, that's like a really good return. So
yeah. And to add, I think that's part of the strategy, is not just learning what you say, but also learning how to control your emotions. I think that's a big piece of it. Not just debating, overall, being calm, collected, and executing the trades and being patient.
So yeah, just to repeat for everyone, because you cut out a little, calm. You said part of it's like learning how to, what the plan is and executing, but a lot of it's managing your emotions and learning how to stay calm, collected, and patient.
Correct.
Yeah, that's definitely, I totally agree. And all right, so I guess, what would you say to someone who's, I guess, like considering joining Wall Street Vision? Any advice for them or any like thoughts in general?
The biggest one is listen and be patient. Don't go into this thinking that you're going to become a millionaire in 2 seconds. Like any business, you have to treat yourself. You're the business. You're the sole proprietor in your own business, and you're going to have bumps. You're going to have bruises, but if you stay the course, you're going to grow, not just monetarily, but as a person.
Got it. And to recap, so you said, don't go into this thinking you're going to be a millionaire. I agree with that. And you said, just like any venture, you're like the sole proprietor. There's going to be some bumps and bruises, but overall you'll grow. Does that kind of recap?
And stay the course.